Good evening to you all. I hope you can hear us and see us, and we are terribly sorry for the delay. We were facing some technical difficulties. Very good evening to you all, either in the Czech Republic, United Kingdom, or elsewhere, and welcome to this Q&A session organized by Czech Centre London on the occasion of the UK premiere of Šimon Šafránek's documentary movie Meky. Meky is available from today on Vimeo on demand. Be careful, it's 3 days only as a part of Made in Prague festival, organized by the lovely crew of Czech Centre in London. Logically, who else should be debating Meky other than Meky himself? So really warm welcome to the legend of Czechoslovak, Slovak and Czech pop music, Miroslav Žbirka.
Good evening.
Hello, Meky. Good to see you and good to hear you indeed. Now, quote, "We wanted to make a film portrait without sentiment and pathos, but with humor. On the visual side, twinkling, energetic and subversive, with loud music and above all, sincere, emotional and human," says director Šimon Šafránek. And I think, Šimon, you delivered just that. Šimon, great to have you with us. Hi to you.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
And of course, important information, just to let you know, Šimon won the Czech Film Awards 2019 for his documentary called King's Gate. My name is Jiří Hošek. I'm a former London correspondent of Czech Radio, and currently I am with Czech news website Seznam Zprávy. Really important information. This is a live discussion, live debate, which will be moderated for some 20 minutes, and then we will switch for another 20 minutes or so, and we will dedicate the remaining time, of course, to the questions from you guys, from the audience. Please post your questions on a platform called Slido, sli.do. That's www.sli.do. Using hashtag Meky, that's the name of the movie, so hashtag Meky, M-E-K-Y, and you can find the link, which is probably the easiest option, at the very top of this Facebook post. Now, to get the debate started, I was wondering, Meky, when you first saw this movie, what was your immediate reaction? How many % of Miroslav Žbirka does this movie contain? Is it 90%, 95%, maybe 100%?
Well, it's difficult to say, you know. The first thing is that it was about me, so I know my life, I know what I went through, but it wasn't boring, you know. And this Šimon Šafránek style, you know, he moves fast, very rather adventurous. Watch myself, what was I doing in that year, and so on. And I wasn't disappointed, but you know, I didn't have any expectations because, you know, it wasn't my movie. I was there answering the questions, you know, walking about, but I didn't want to put my nose in what they were doing, and I was glad. In the end, I said to Šimon, "It's okay, I like it," you know. A mám odpovědět v slovenčině, aby jsem naplnil.
Maybe later, Meky, but we decided to have this debate in English primarily. Okay. But I was wondering, Šimon, was there a moment when Meky really said, "I'm sorry, guys, can you just stop recording for a while? This is for me too painful, too intimate," something like this?
Yeah, well, I think stuff like that happens. Like not like all of the time, but sometimes it happens. because you're dealing with live people, you know, and so everybody got their own emotions and stuff going on. But it was really like a pleasant experience, the whole shooting, and then being in the editing room and stuff. Yeah, so it was lovely.
That's good to hear. Šimon, it must have been incredibly difficult, and for me it's incredibly valuable, all this footage from 1960s and 70s. Now, how difficult it was to find the ideal footage in the archives. That itself is a great achievement.
Thank you. Well, I think we started this with my editor, Šimon Šafránek, when we were working on King's Gate, because there were a lot of archive footage as well. And here we went, I think, like, you know, like a level up, because we had these like archive footage from Slovak television and Czech television, so it was like hundreds of hours of stuff. And then we had this personal archive, and we had to decide what material basically represents what era, because I think in our shared audience perception, when you see black and white film, it might be like 60s. When it's colored film, you know, it might be late 70s, 80s. When you have like VHS, this kind of like old video look, it's 80s. And when you have vertical, it's obviously nowadays cell phone camera. So we had to go with these styles, and then just browsing through all those archives, we just went for the emotion. The emotion was our like guiding light, basically, because without the emotion, I think you just get lost. You don't want to watch it if there is no emotion.
Sure, sure. Meky, of course, you spent a big chunk of your life on the wrong side of the Iron Curtain, and to me it was surprising that you didn't find harsher words on towards communists, towards the regime. There was no verbal abuse towards communists. Of course, there was this very strong moment when you were sitting with your friends in your early teenage years, and one of your friends was beaten by this policeman. But in general, it feels like, of course, you're an extremely nice person. I was expecting you to be more critical towards communists, towards the way they treated not only you, but you know, your fellow countrymen.
Well, I mean, after 30 years, you know, we were critical in the 90s and so on. But 30 years after that, maybe I was already tired of that kind of stuff. But the thing is that you know, it's 80 minutes, but we spent a year and a half, and I was just talking, so I said many things, you know. So it's difficult to say. Šimon used that what he used, but I think being critical, everything is obvious, you know. My brother died in 1969, and I don't have to say any, you know, it was even painful to remember all these things, because for me, life after 1989, you know, was a beautiful experience. I got to Abbey Road Studios later on and so on. So I was like, you know, I felt this. But for Šimon, the main interest was life before 89, you know, as you said, you know, and I have to remember all those things, you know, what we were like, and I surprised myself also, you know, because when I watched that kind of stuff we tried to play before 89, you know, using drum computers and things like that, it was even difficult to buy, to get the records and so on. So I mean, for Šimon, the movies about this, you know, and for you maybe too, you know, but for me, you know, it's 30 years after 89, and I tried so many things, you know. So it's not about politics, to be honest, because, you know, even today it's misinspiring every day, and I felt that everything is quite clear. Before 89, we didn't have powerful things like that. So I don't think I have to explain more, you know. It's absolutely clear we were not free, you know, and yet we were trying to play some kind of rock and roll. We believed it was rock music, but I don't think I don't need to add anything to that. I think it's a young generation who has to explain things. I don't know, you know.
Yeah, we are losing
for me, it's quite obvious, you know.
I couldn't see you technically, so I hope the signal will improve. Yeah, your internet connection seems to be rather unstable. So maybe I point my next question. Yes, it's slightly better, but I'll ask the next question to Šimon. And you know, it must have been so difficult. I mean, you collected tons and tons of raw material. Which was probably the most difficult scene that you actually had to cut out, that you were actually missing in the final cut, and that you were most thinking about? Should I keep it, or should I edit it?
It's hard to say, because obviously in the editing room you have to be, or we have to be, like merciless. It's just the stuff has to it has to go, and so sometimes there are some funny.
Yeah, seems to be that we have some problems getting connection with Šimon. No, but you're back now, so carry on.
Your internet connection is unstable. I'm sorry.
No, that's
so. I don't really remember, like, if there was something that, because you have to get rid of stuff. You get rid of stuff. You get rid of people. You know, because we of course spoke to actually many more people, but sometimes they just don't make it to the final cut. And I think it's always better to have the film a bit shorter and engaging than, you know, a bit longer, and then it just kind of like drags, and it's like, oh. So I think it's better to be shorter.
I think the pace of the movie is excellent. Meky, there was a very interesting point which I think Kamil Peteraj made in the movie, when he was saying that actually most Slovak singers were composing and singing mostly their own songs, and you edit, and I do apologize if I do not quote it precisely. If I was Czech, I would actually not sing that much. So could you elaborate on that a little bit?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know why I said that, you know, because it was, you know, I answered some kind of question. But I think that I was trying to point out that we were, you know, Bratislava is in the inner of Vienna. So we could hear Maggie May, Rod Stewart singing, you know, Carole King, whoever, you know, those hits in the 70s and then later on. So it would be silly to try to sing, you know, for us, it was silly to try to remake Smokey song, Living Next Door to Alice or whatever, and try to sing it in Slovak, because that wouldn't be enough for us. So, and Janko Lehocký, he was the one who composed a lot of songs. He had a lot of songs, so we didn't need to. So we tried our own stuff, and it was really better, because, you know, we were not compared to originals from England and America and so on. And somehow we developed our own style. Later on, I sang Atlantida and songs like that, and they were really original songs. And I recognized that that's the way to go. For us, in Prague it was different because they didn't have Vienna in the nearness, so they could even sing a song from anybody. I don't know, Bonnie Tyler, It's a Heartache, in Czech, and everybody would think, oh, that's an original Czech song. That's a nice song, But in Bratislava, it was pointless because all my friends knew the originals. So, they would laugh at me if I tried to sing songs like that. Maybe that was the thing. I don't know. We were younger, so, But it was the right way to go, We tried to do our own stuff, and that's what I did all my life.
I have to say, and this is my personal remark, that I really like the fact that after so many years of you living in Prague, you still speak Slovak, and this in the context of a Slovak guy who is currently running Czech Republic and trying to speak Czech. So I really have a very strong admiration for your approach. Anyway, if we move further, there was a moment when Laco Lucenic was talking about your split, and this was to me the probably saddest moment of the movie. Do you see it in a similar way, Meky?
It is, but it happened, and it was just like that, we went separate. I lived in Prague. He stayed in Bratislava, so each other. It's also important, and we went different ways, and now it's very difficult. Even I didn't speak to him yet, I saw the movie because I was surprised, as you were surprised probably what he says, but I didn't speak to him, So, but I think if he wanted to say something in that movie, I would be the last to try to say to Šimon, because a lot of people asked me, was it okay for you to being criticized in your movie? But if he wanted to say things like that, it has to be there. It's the picture, and that's how I think things like that happen in the band. We are not the first ones, and I only believe that if I meet Laco next days, somehow, warmness will come in, and because we have, for me, I have nice memories, and again, he's a fantastic producer, so that's what he said. Too many positive things about our past, so I don't see it in the same way, as Laco does. So it's very difficult for me to say, because I'm not walking in his shoes.
Sure. Šimon, I think you were born 1977. I was born 1976, and from the moment we were born, this guy Žbirka was there. Then we grew up, and he was still there. Then I studied. He was there. I got married. I got children, and Žbirka is just eternal. I mean, when you started your project, you had certain, maybe let's use the word prejudice, your own idea about the framework of your movie, and then you spent a year and a half next to Meky. How much did you have to change your original concept?
Well, first I really got to say that as I didn't listen much to a Czechoslovak music when I was young, I first basically discovered Meky's music when I was looking for music to Kingsgate, because I wanted to have there some Czechoslovak music from 80s. And I found out these electronic new wave songs that I just loved from the first moment, and I wanted to have them in the film. and so that was for me like the moment, and then the friendship with Lazo and stuff. And if anything changed, I don't know. I'm trying to, you know, doing like these documentaries, I'm just trying to come there with no prejudice whatsoever. I think basically the less you think, the better. I mean, the less concepts you have, because you have those concepts and I have them, of course, but I just have to leave them, because otherwise I would be pushing these guys into some boxes where I would think they belong to, but they don't necessarily do. So I think it's just better to observe and shut up for a bit, and then to process it in the editing room somehow, or during the whole shoot, because we met I don't know, first for like 3 very intense days when we did that interview in the garden. And then it was like throughout the year that we met every now and then, and did a little bit more there, whatever. So you kind of navigate through that, but yeah, really, the less concept and the less prejudice, I think, the better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some fundamental difference, because you know, Meky has been my childhood hero, so you know, I was obsessed, you know, by him, and I think Meky will be laughing out loud, because that's almost perverse. I remember my first meeting with Miroslav Žbirka as a reader of a communist magazine for small children called Ohníček, and this is a story probably from 1982 or 1983. And there was a survey among Czechoslovak celebrities about their first love. And I wonder whether Meky recalls, you know, having participated in this survey. And I remember that his answer was, if I remember correctly, that the first love was a girl from Luxembourg called Hannah at the age of 14. Is that true?
Honey, from Amsterdam. She
yes.
was from Amsterdam.
Okay.
You know more. You remember that? That's what I said.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, honey. Yeah, she was. You know, I was into the Beatles, of course, and she told me everything about Rolling Stones. She was into Rolling Stones. I still remember the song. She loved, and nobody recognizes the song today. If you need me, why don't you call me? Say if you need me. And that reminds me of Honey, because I was lucky to meet her. But you know, I have that kind of experience, you know. But it's funny that you know about it, because I never mentioned it. You know. But now you've surprised me a lot. That's definitely not in the movie. But maybe it is in the book, probably.
Yeah. But I'm not cheating. I'm not cheating. I don't know it from your book. This is really authentic memory. Now, going back to you, Šimon, it felt like a torture. I was waiting for this iconic Bielý kvet, white flower song. And it takes 1 hour and 12 minutes into your movie to finally hear it. Why on earth does it take so long?
Well, because it's the, you know, most well-known song, so it has to be the last one. Or it could be the first one, but we found this beautiful archive of Atlantida, which is also, I think, like, they are like these two most well-known songs, I think. And I chose this one, the Atlantida, because I think there was this beautiful picture that we had from the old times and also from the new times. So I could connect those times, the old time and the new time. And there was, it's a no-brainer, you know, it has to be the last one.
Brilliant answer. Well, thank you guys so much. Let's now pay attention to the questions from our lovely audience. Unfortunately, we cannot see our audience, but hopefully the audience can see us. And just a reminder that you can post your questions on platform Slido, sli.do, using the hashtag Meky. And before I go to that platform, I remember one question which was posted already in the afternoon, and I think it came from a Slovak fan of yours living in the United Kingdom, Meky. And the question was quite simple: how is Marika Gombitová nowadays, and whether you think that you two will meet on the stage again?
Well, it's difficult to say now because stage is a place now. It's very difficult to say, and obviously it's difficult to say. And mentioning Marika, because there were only few concerts with Marika, but I was always optimistic, and you never know. There is a possibility. Maybe in May, if I may say, there is a chance.
There is a lovely question coming from Anna, which is, what do you like the most about London? What's the single thing that you would really point out about you and London? What really brings you joy?
Well, Muswell Hill is probably the first thing, but there are too many things, and nowadays to think about London, it's even it makes me sad because it's difficult now for me. But of course, Abbey Road Studios, it's like the church for me, and many other things, and friends in London, jokes, pubs, concerts, Oxford Street, whatever comes to my head, it's too many things about London to be mentioned.
Sure. Actually, when you described the story, how your dad met your mom, does that pub still exist?
That was Green Man. It exists as a building, but it's not a pub anymore. But it used to be, and I saw the pub, in the old days, and so it's a nice memory, because I could, the first time I was in London, it was in the 70s, So when I first entered that pub, and I saw Green Man, that was the place where my mother and my father met. It was like a very important place, of course. So Green Man, roundabout in Muswell Hill. So that was Green Man. A lot of people will remember.
Yeah. Then we have a question from another Slovak expat, which is quite nice. And it is, what kind of song would you recommend to a Slovak living abroad in this difficult time of coronavirus, pandemic?
I always mention my new songs, and now I have a song which is connected to Juraj Jakubisko movie, Perimbaba, and that is called Slovenska. So I recommend that song.
Now, there is a very practical question. Are you planning any concerts for, coming weeks, months, online concert, whatever? Maybe
online. That's because we have to be realistic, and so maybe online concert, because it's a never-ending story, So organizing live gigs now, it's very, it's unlikely to happen. But online concert probably is. That will happen. And in general, are there any musical plans on the horizon? A project that you have on your mind? Yeah, you know, writing new songs. That's what I like to do. And I'm doing, you know, I'm working on new songs. So, and it's easier to record them even in this kind of conditions, you know. So if I have enough songs and if I believe in that album, so I'll try to record an album next year, maybe, because I have some songs, but you know, it's rather chaotic in my head now. Is it good? Is it good enough? Or, you know, it's difficult even to concentrate nowadays. There's too many things going on. But I write new songs, so I believe that there's going to be a new album in about a year or two.
That's a brilliant news. Now going over to you, Šimon, and was there a different Meky when you were shooting in Slovakia and the Czech Republic, and there was a different Meky when you went together to London? Probably when you were standing, you know, at Ali Pali Alexandra Palace and having this phenomenal panoramic view of London. Did you feel that that it's a different Meky that's standing in front of the camera?
Well, it's an interesting question. I think we tried to capture that London is his like his home of his soul, or you know, this kind of like roots. That I think, if you say so, then you might find it that way. But I think that it was still like the same, or you know, like there wasn't much difference. It was still the same humor.
There are two more questions for you, Šimon. First of all, I mean, how did you get into shooting documentaries? And similar question as the one I posed to Meky about your future projects.
Well, documentaries, I don't know. It just happened. Stuff. Well, I think I always wanted to make films, and then I had this crazy idea with a couple of my friends that we would do a film about Nick Cave like 20 years ago or something, and so we went on tour and we're documenting that. But the film never happened because there was a fight over music rights, and it was just a mess, and it still is, and it will never be, I think, public. And then I did some music videos, and then I think there was always music actually, because I always wanted to have a band, and I don't really, I cannot sing, so I focused on music and films, and that comes with the next project, which we are starting to shoot in 2 weeks. It's gonna be like a series for Czech television on 30 years of Czech rap music, because it kind of like comes, it's the 30 years as the 30 years of the new republics, or so-called. And I think it's going to be an exciting project. And yeah, I would like to shoot also some like normal films, or you know, like fiction, but stuff is happening in this direction now, so yeah.
let's wait. But actually it brings a question to my mind. I mean, Meky, how did you respond actually when Šimon approached you for the first time and said, "Hi, I'm Šimon. You may not know me, but I would like, you know, to shoot a big documentary about you"? Was it an immediate yes, that's a brilliant idea, or did you hesitate?
No, he didn't see me hesitating, because, you know, that was my Catherine, my wife, organizing the thing. So I was already educated, you know, I knew everything about Šimon, you know. I was kind of happy. And another thing, because I'm in this kind of showbiz, you know, so many years, I knew what it's going to be, camera. you know, being on all the time, and you're chased by all the time. So that was another thing, you know. I said, this is going to be really tiring thing. But on the other hand, I was happy they were, you know, it was interesting enough for them to go through my past. And so it was, you know, both. Sometimes I was getting a bit tired of it, and another person in me is telling me, okay, let's do it. This is going to be, you know, interesting, you know, your past, and with a kind of new approach, you know, because Shimon, he didn't know about me when he was a boy or something, or, you know, so and I'm glad we did it, but I hope we are not going to repeat it in about 3 years, because I'm still, you know, tired, you know, because, you know, it's only 80 minutes, but it was a lot of, you know, a lot of things had to be done, you know, and all of the concerts were a lot of stress, because I had to think about the concert and then the camera there, you know. So it was always like, you know, being filmed is a crazy thing, you know. So I'm happy that you know, we're finished, and the people probably like it, and the result is okay, and I'm glad we did it, you know.
Well, we are more than glad you did it. Probably final question or remark. I recall this brilliant scene when you're driving your car, and probably you stop at traffic lights or something, and you look into camera and say, well, I always thought I'm rather intelligent, but I'm not quite sure now whether I'm not talking really crap. So after seeing the movie, do you consider yourself intelligent person again?
You know, after talking to you, I have the same kind of feeling, you know. So I hope, you know, I didn't disappoint you. You know, I hope you're not disappointed, because, you know, year by year it's difficult to, you know, maybe you know, he was right to use it, because I didn't know he's going to use what I said. And that's another secret about his work. Shimon, you know, he didn't tell me about camera. So I thought, and you mentioning that part of the movie, that I'm talking to him and nobody's going to see this. So, and I'm glad he used things like that, because that makes it even more interesting, yeah. And I forgot about what I said, but I'm right. I think it's difficult after, you know, when you think about that. In the past, I used to feel like king. You know, we were popular, and, you know, I was just you know, I was a star. So today, it's even funny. It's different. I see it in a different way today. So even myself, you know, but it's better if I do it with humor, yeah, than to be disappointed in some ways, or tragic or something, you know. So you see, and now I'm talking nonsense. You see.
It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense to me. Anyway, Šimon, this of course is primarily dedicated to Czech and Slovak audience public, but also now it's, you know, being shown to UK public, UK premiere. Do you think there are moments when maybe you know, viewers from abroad will find it difficult to maybe understand certain roots, certain, you know, details, motifs?
Well, we try to be as universal as possible. And that's about that. So I think, of course, sometimes it might be a challenge, but it's, I think, always a challenge when you're watching a foreign film in foreign language. On the other hand, you know, it can enrich you, and I think that's the point. But I think we just try to be universal with the emotions again, because I think the emotions is the thing that carries the stuff, the film, the story, and it's, you know, a lot of it is about friendship and some and music. So I think it's universal enough. I hope.
I definitely show. I do share your view and your opinion. Guys, I think we even ran out of questions. Then there are, of course, numbers of well-wishers. So I'll just extend the well wishes to both of you. And of course, there is a lot of praise about the movie, which is well-deserved. And, you know, not only from my side, but from all lovely people from Czech Center London and from our audience. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Thank you to you, Meky. Miroslav Žbirka was with us live. Thank you so much, and apologies for reminding Hani or just the story. I hope we continue a debate when we will finally meet again in personal. So thank you so much, Meky.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, many thanks to the director of the movie, Šimon Šafránek, as well. Šimon, stay safe and all the best to you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And of course, a reminder that for those who haven't seen the movie yet, it is available on Czech Center's Vimeo on demand until 10 a.m. on Sunday, this Sunday, 15th of November. You'll find details either on Facebook or on Czech Center's website, which is czechcenter.org.uk. And I'll also recommend the upcoming screenings of Charlatan or documentary of Jan Švankmajer, all being part of the Made in Prague festival. So from me, take care and good night.
Good night.
Bye.